Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Well, this is the long-awaited best wet glue ever video, and I have to tell you that this is the second time I've had to do it completely from the beginning, because at some point in the first video I got a smudge on the lens, and that was really a good thing because then you couldn't see anything. I was going to try and pass it off as a ghost before Halloween, but when we really looked at it, it took up more of the screen than you could see anything, so it made it virtually worthless because it was the end of the video where I really went into more detail that was gone. So you are going to miss out on some things, but not really, because I'll tell you what I did. What I did in the first video is I took a piece of paper, I wrote all the information on it, and then while you were on the video I glued it shut, and then I showed you whether it was tacky right away or not, and then I also told you if if later it was tacky. And that was kind of the whole point of the video, is to show you did it work right away? Because when you're making cards, and especially when you're making things like boxes, you need it sometimes to really hold quickly. So I wanted to make sure I told you that, and which ones were quick, which ones weren't quick in setting up. Then after that I go through the whole price scenario of what I found on the internet. Now my prices might not be the best prices, these are just the ones I found, so I want to make sure you understand you probably can find a better price than what I found, because all I did was look on the internet, and I have accumulated these over the last probably 6 months just to research this video. As you know, no one pays me to do anything. I do everything just for the satisfaction of knowing that I know what the best glue is for me, and you'll know what the best glues are for you based on what you determine from the video. At the end, I'm also going to go into quite a bit of detail about fine tip applicators, and I'll do a little bit of that through the video, but I want to make sure that I kind of give you the nuts and bolts of this before we start. So let's get started. I have 21 glues. In the original video I thought I had 20, but I have 21, and so I want to go over them step by step in detail with you so you know which ones do what. I'm going to start out with Crystal Effects. The reason I'm starting out with that is because this is one of the ones that I decanted into a fine tip applicator bottle that I bought. I bought a set of, I don't know, I think there was like 6 of these. Let me tell you, if you buy anything like this, don't waste your money. I don't care how cheap they are. They don't stop the glue from gluing it shut. So you'll have to use a paper clip to shove in there to get it to come out. That's not really fun, and I didn't really enjoy doing it, but I'm going to do it for you so that you can see it once too, and I'll kind of just have to move things so that you can see me do it. I didn't, on every other one also, I put a big blob of it on there on the outside so you could see the glue when we were done, whether it was shiny or whether it was so you couldn't see it. And I thought that was an important feature because we all want to know if our glue is going to be shiny in the end or not. Now obviously Crystal Effects, the goal of it is for it to be shiny. If you don't know about these kinds of glues, Crystal Effects, Diamond Glaze, Glossy Accents, Mod Podge Gloss, those were all made to be shiny on your project. So like in the case of this Crystal Effects, when it dries, it should dry very shiny, and that's what you want it for, and that's why you buy it. It's one of the things that, if let's say on a card you want to make your balloon shiny, that's what you put on it, something like this. Back to the glue. When I did Crystal Effects, when I glued the paper shut initially, I'm going to have to get this in my notes here because this is the one part of this I don't remember. It was very it was tacky at the beginning. What I did is I glued these papers shut, and then afterwards, after 2 hours, I came back to see if they were really glued shut. It is well glued, and it was tacky, but it wasn't so tacky that it ripped the paper. And I'm going to put that one back. The next one I'm going to talk about is the Elmers No Wrinkle Rubber Cement. Let me get some of these off to the side so that I have a place where you can see things actually. So our second one is going to be the Elmers No Wrinkle Rubber Cement. Now this is acid-free, photo-safe. It is made for paper products, scrapbooking, etc. This one has a very distinct odor, not a pleasant one. It's gross, and it burns your eyes. It's that intense. If you've ever used rubber cement, you know what I mean. It's just not a pleasant aroma. Oh, I'm going to have to go back to the first two and tell you a little bit more about them. But when I put this down, it wasn't as tacky on this when I first set it up. It did set up nicely in the end, but it wasn't very tacky to begin with. I'm going to give you some information that I didn't give you on the other ones, and I'll go back and give you that one. Oh, it's actually just one other one. For 16 ounces, I found $2.39 at Joann's for the No Wrinkle Rubber Cement. So it's not that expensive of a glue, but I wanted to make sure I told you that. That might not be 16 ounces. 16 ounces might be a lie. Might be 8 ounces for $2.39. But check the prices on them. I'm just giving you what I think the price was. After doing this a little bit, you start to get a little loopy, let me just tell you. Let me go back to the Crystal Effects and give you the prices on that, so you have that too. That the Crystal Effects is, for 2 ounces of it at Amazon, was $4.61. This information on the left, that's dollars and ounces if you can't read it. I went through, usually I went to either Google or Amazon, Walmart.com, Joann's. I really tried to go to places I could find as much glue as possible. I started with Joann's because I would be able to tell you the retail price. I'm not giving you the price with the coupon. So that's the highest price you'll pay at Joann's. And then the other ones, if I couldn't find it at Joann's, then I went to those other websites to find it. So I went to Walmart second. If I didn't find it at Walmart, then I went to Amazon third. And if I didn't find it at Amazon, then I Google searched it. So you'll see a Google search one, believe me, as we go. Let's talk about the third one. It's one of the school glues. It's Scotch's Less Mess School Glue. This was about 50 cents, but I got it at Back to School, and you could get that at Walmart Back to School really inexpensively, and it was kind of tacky, like you'd expect a white glue to be, but it wasn't super tacky, and it set up really nicely, and I did tell you the price, and that was for 4 ounces. The next one is Staples Washable School Glue. I kind of went in sequences of, I tried to stick with kind of like products if I had some. Staples Washable School Glue, these again, I could get them as cheaply in Back to School as 4 for $1, sometimes 2 for $1, sometimes more than that. So it really depends on the time of year. I would stock up on these at Back to School time and get them as inexpensively as possible, and I'll explain that at the end. But they're 2 for $1, like I said, usually in Back to School, and sometimes 4 for $1 when you hit that really big Back to School. Now the Tombow Mono, which one I do? I did liquid glue, okay? No, that's not that one. That's this one. I got glue going everywhere. This is the Tombow Mono Liquid Glue. Now, everybody loved this glue. Anybody that scrapbooks or crafts loves this glue. You don't have to use much of it, and it's got 2 tips, which this is the first one that has 2 tips. It's got the little tip on this end, and then, I'll close it back up, on the other end, it's got this big kind of rubber tip that you can push down and smear your glue around. It's a nice feature to have. I've never used it, but I'm sure it's a nice feature. I normally don't have any trouble getting this to come out. It's a faster running glue, but when you get near the bottom, it's harder to get out. So my recommendation is when you store it, I would store it in something in an up and down positions with that big tip at the top, so that you can get the glue to stay down in the tip that you want it to be using on. This is normally $2.99 at Joann's for 0.88 ounces. Now that doesn't seem really good because it's it's not much glue, but a little of this goes a very long way. So when you're looking at glues, it's one of the considerations that you should have. And this should dry clear. I'm going to tell you, this was my biggest disappointment of the day. Can you see that? That is a shine that the Tombow Mono liquid glue leaves. Right there. Can you see it? I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to move it around so hopefully you can see it. But it's a very shiny glue, and I was really surprised at this, and I have to say sadly disappointed, because I've always used this glue and thought it was great. And and the other thing is, it does leave a sticky consistency after you're done. Let me go to the other ones. None on that. The Elmers No Wrinkle Rubber Cement is a little bit tacky. The Scotch Less Mess is not tacky. Tombow Mono is. Let me go back to the staples and tell you if it's sticky. It's not. Okay, so I think I've given you the up to the minute on how tacky they are. Tombow Mono Aqua. Now I prefer. I'm throwing these into a bucket beside me. Sorry about that noise. This is the Tombow Mono Aqua. Of the Tombows, I like this one better than the other one because it's cheaper. You get 1.69 ounces for around $2.99 at Joann's, and again without a coupon. But it's like twice as much as the other. It has the dual tip, exactly like the first mono or the first Tombow I showed you, and it is a nice glue. Also shiny when it dries. It's right down on this end. I'm going to move the paper and hopefully you can see the shine. Sadly enough, shiny. Oh, and it is very sticky at the beginning, which is nice. It sets up very, very fast. Now we're going to go to Martha Stewart's permanent glue. Did I tell you the price? Yes, I did tell you the price of that. Martha Stewart puts out this permanent glue. This is 4 ounces for $3.05 at Walmart. And this is a nice size bottle, and it has one tip on it. And it's easy to set into something to hold up and down, which I like. When I first started doing cards, I only used Martha Stewart's glue, but then she changed her glue and I had a hard time finding it. So now that I know Walmart.com carries it, it makes me really happy. It sets up very, very quickly. It's super sticky. In fact, it ripped the paper. This was the first. We're at the 7th glue, and it's the first glue that ripped the paper when I was setting it up. And as far as tacky afterwards, it's hard to find on the paper. It's down here, and it's not tacky at all. So that's good. The next one we're going to look at is Aleene's Tacky Glue. I decanted it into one of these crappy bottles. Yeah, it's a regretful thing. What are you going to do? But because it's a tacky glue, it does set up very quickly. And this is, Aleene's makes a bunch of glues and a bunch in the tacky line. That sounds so funny. A very tacky girl. No. Anyway, there are a lot of tacky glues. There's like extra super tacky, extra fast drying tacky. I have the clear tacky glue here. So you can get a lot of her glues, and they are very inexpensive as glues go. As I said, I decanted this. Full price at Joann's. It's $1.99 for 4 ounces. It is a very shiny glue when it's dry, and it's also tacky when it's dry. So it's not only tacky when it's wet, but see it? It's tacky when it's dry. So it's a great glue for having under things, but if you let it seep out, you're going to have some shine. So I like to make sure I tell you things like that so you know. Next up, after that, I'm going to stick in the Aleene's line, and I'm going to go with Aleene's Tack It Over and Over. Now, Aleene's Tack It Over and Over is specifically made to be able to be glued and then unglued, and, well, glued and then pulled apart. And it has some great uses. You can make this into glue dots, which I highly recommend you doing. If you use glue dots, don't buy any refills and don't get rid of your glue dot paper. Just use your glue dot paper up the first time. In fact, I'll show you what I do. This is my glue dot roll. I just keep it kind of beside me, hanging on a rack. And when the paper gets so far down, I just fill it up. Can you see those dots? Maybe you can't, maybe you can. See all those dots? I just fill it up with dots, and then once I go down, use up those, then I put more dots on it. But it's a great glue for that purpose, and my very favorite purpose is to use on the back of red rubber stamps. If you put a little bit, I'm not talking a ton of it, because it will stick it down too hard if you put too much on. But put a little bit on the back of your red rubber stamps, and I never put that foam layer on my red rubber stamps. I just use my Misty or a Rock-a-Block and have no problem stamping with it. So I really recommend this for that purpose. Now, it is a tacky glue, and it sets up tacky, and it's used in this way. It's not really meant to be a typical glue, but it is a great temporary fabric adhesive, and that's what it was made for. And I'm not sure what genius crafter figured out how to use it for anything else, but when they did, they were so smart, because it is a great glue, and it really sets up on the top of the cap, so you have trouble keeping that clean if you're me. If you're someone else, probably not. Aleene's Tack It Over and Over, 4 ounces of it at Joann's was $2.69. Of course, I'll have all this information down below, as I always do. I just wanted to make sure that I go over it with you now. Oh, one last note on Aleene's Tack It Over and Over. You can make those glue dots and then take perfect pearls and color over it and use it as an embellishment on your cards. But you really have to make sure you do a good job of coating it so that the tacky doesn't stick to anything like the inside of the envelope. Okay? Now, the next one, we're going to stick with the Aleene's family since I'm on a roll, is the Aleene's Clear Tacky Glue. Now, Aleene's Clear Tacky Glue is just as the other ones. It is definitely tacky. It dries shiny. Can you see that there? And I'll go over the shiny at the end anyway. It dries shiny, but 4 ounces of it is $3.49 at Joann's. This was, I think, the glue that I bought to use with this applicator, or maybe it was another glue. Anyway, I bought a big bottle of glue to use with this fine tip applicator. I told you I'd talk about fine tip applicators at the end, but I'm going to intersperse a little bit with this. This is the larger size that you can buy, and I have 2 problems with it. The first was, what was I thinking that I would be able to hold an 8-ounce bottle and be able to get this little tip to get glue out of it and do it easily? That didn't work. The other thing that was problematic, I'm not sure what's going on inside this lid. Okay, 2 problems. Now, I can't get the lid off. Most of the problem was I couldn't get the lid on. I'll have to have Rich get that off. I'll probably have to put it in hot water. Not sure of what the problem is on it now, but I didn't think there was any glue in it. But now I can't get it off. That, for me, I'm not saying for the average person, but then I'm not really focusing 100% on the average person. I'm focusing on everyone. And with that in mind, people who have any kind of problems with their hands, if you have use of only one arm and you're relying on the other to do all of your work, and strength is an issue, or you're shaky, these fine tip applicators are difficult to recap, and I was going to show you that, but I can't do it yet, but I will show you on another one. Put that in the bucket with everything else. But back to this, for the price, it is a good glue, except for the fact that it's shiny. Next up is Mod Podge. And Mod Podge, this is the gloss Mod Podge. It's not sticky. When you first put it down, it's not a tacky glue. It doesn't set up fast. It's not one that you're going to want to use if you're making a box. And the other thing about it is, if you buy the gloss, then you expect it to be glossy. That's part of the, excitement of it all. So you want to make sure that when you're buying it, that you buy something that's tailored to the project that you're using it for. Like if you want it to be matte, then you'd use a matte Mod Podge. Okay? At Joann's, the price was 8 ounces for $6.99. It's not a cheap product, and for this gloss Mod Podge, what I probably would do is, instead of paying $6.99, I would probably pay 2 for $1 and dilute regular school glue with some water. It, in essence, makes Mod Podge. So if you've never done that before, just take a lot of white glue and dilute it with maybe a quarter of it with water. You don't want to put too much water in, because then it won't adhere. So you just want to make sure maybe it's 4 parts school glue to 1 part water. Look that up on the internet to find out the definite measurements to make your own Mod Podge. But you can make your own Mod Podge much, much cheaper than you can buy it. Just a sandy tip. Money is always an important thing for me. I've always been frugal in the way I've run our household. I try to find inexpensive ways of doing things, and I hate to pay full price for anything. It makes me absolutely nuts. So that's another reason I'm doing this, is so you can see the prices of glues and where you can get the least expensive glues as well. So back to, next one is Scotch's scrapbooking glue. It comes in this nice container that has the dual end. This is like a dauber, which is cool, because if you're familiar with bingo daubers, that's what it's like. Kind of cool. And then the other one is the tip, like regular glue tip. And it was the stickiest of all of the glues when I initially put it down. I mean, I put it down and it ripped the paper instantly. So that's definitely a plus. It dries without any stick to it. I need to go back to Mod Podge and tell you if it's sticky. It's not sticky either. The price on this is 1.6 ounces, which this is, for $4.19. I don't know where I found that price at, though. Sorry about that. It does dry shiny. I'll go over that at the end. Right? Yeah. Easy Paper Glue by Leho. I only found this at a stamp show I was at, and it has this cool rubber dauber top that's kind of those ones that you push and then rub across the paper. It's nifty. And it's $1 when I bought it for 1.85 fluid ounces. And it was sticky, but it was the wettest. Like it just basically it kind of runs out of the bottle. You have no problem getting it out. I love that part of it. It dries shiny, not overly shiny. When I say shiny, I don't mean like Mod Podge shiny. I mean shiny like in just not a flat, not an invisible glue. That's what I mean by that. Next is Beacon's 3-in-1 glue. If you're not familiar with Beacon's 3-in-1, it is a really fabulous glue. It sets up really fast. It's a lot like hot glue. It strings like hot glue. It does have an odor. This is the only other one that really has an odor to it. Not as bad as a rubber cement, but it does smell. And it is, at Walmart, I found the price to be, I don't know if this is right, 4 ounces for $9.09. I'm not sure, because I know I wouldn't have paid double that for an 8-ounce bottle. So do some price checking if you buy this, but it does dry shiny but not tacky. And like I said, it sets up almost instantly, a lot like hot glue. It's a very good glue for when you need like a box, when you want to do it almost instantly. Art Glitter Glue. Now this is a new find for me in the last couple months, and I've been using it a lot. It is not an inexpensive glue. This 2-ounce bottle is about $8.41. You can buy an 8-ounce bottle for $19.97, and I got this at Amazon, I'm pretty sure. You kind of have to buy it through the scrapbooking sites. I think that May makes it. I think she sells it in her store and might be a little inexpensive, comparatively speaking. This is the fine tip applicator that you can add onto their bottle, which I just put on when I was doing this, the video. And all you do is you just kind of push it onto the existing nozzle. You don't take the existing nozzle off. You just push this on, which is kind of cool. It's got the pin that goes into it, and I'll show you. It's very runny glue. That's one of the reasons I love it. But here's one of my major problems with fine tip applicators. I can't get the pin to go back in, even when I'm wearing my strongest glasses. For, you know, like, I'm not, like, it only took me maybe a couple seconds, but in that couple seconds I get frustrated. So I'm not sure about the rest of you, but if that bothers you, that frustration of trying to get a pin in that little slot, those fine tip applicators are not for you, because they basically are, no, not all, most are like that. So that's the Art Glitter Glue. I gave you the price on it. It does dry shiny, which is unfortunate. Can you see that shine? I really, really, really wanted this to dry clearly, because I hoped that would be my first choice. But shine took it off my list of top contenders. Next one is the Diamond Glaze. I decanted that into this little bottle. It is a shiny glue. It's made to be shiny. I put it into this contact solution bottle, and I did it when I made this video. I wanted to see if it would work after the fact, and it does. So if you do have contacts or know somebody who has contacts, I would decant into these instead of these, because for me they were much easier to use, and the cap fits very tightly and securely, and you don't have the problem with it clogging like I did these. So that's my advice on things like fine tips, except for the fact that this is made by Judykins, and it's normally $4.45 for 2 ounces at Amazon. And you're going to just hate me, but I bought an 8-ounce bottle at a sell-off store for $1, and they had 2 bottles, so I bought them both. I was really excited to find them. And you know, when you're talking 2 ounces at $4.45, and I got 8 ounces for $1, and then I decanted it because of that. I learned my lesson about holding an 8-ounce bottle. Not my standard. Okay. That was the Diamond Glaze. Put that back over there. And then we have Glossy Accents. Where is that? Over there. Right here it is. Glossy Accents is, I found it 2 ounces, $4 at Stuff for Crafts. Stuff for Crafts. See how it's written? .com. That was the the cheapest I found it on the internet, and it is not as tacky when you first apply it. It's really not meant to be your standard glue. It's meant to be the one that you turn your balloon into a shiny balloon, and so you keep that in mind. It doesn't set up fast, because it has its intentions, but it does dry to this hard clear finish, and it's not sticky at all. So it's a great shiny glue. And then I originally after I ran out of my Martha Stewart, I found this best glue ever. And I decanted this as well into, this was my first try at one of these fine tip applicators. I bought this from Tilly's Bridge, Tillys Bridge, and it's www.zibbet, like in zebra, ibbet.com, and then there's a / Tilly's Bridge, all one word. And I'm not sure if they're still selling them or not, but this was my first fine tip applicator. I had one heck of a time getting this back in, and for me that was and is the big issue with these, is getting that in, and some of them I've clogged. And some of them, and it's been my fault that they've clogged. So, I think I told you it was 2 ounces. Oh, no, I didn't. The best glue ever is made by Scrap Perfect. I found a 2 ounce at Joann's for $5.99. It does not, it dries a little bit shiny. Not super shiny, but a little bit shiny. And it sets up very, very, very quickly. It ripped the paper when I tried to pull it apart. So that's the best glue ever. Then PPA, it is perfect paper adhesive for 7.9 ounces, which is what this is. It's $7.84 at Amazon, and it's, I think, made to be something that you use on books. It's permanent, it's archival, it's UV resistant, but that's what I bought it for. I was going to make some journals, and so this was one of the ones that it said was good. It is a matte finish. It's made by US Art Quest, and when I put it down, it's very runny. It's really super easy to squeeze, but it has no stick at the beginning. I mean, no stick. When I pulled the paper apart, it just kind of went like nothing. Like I had put water on it. So that's the drawback of it, is that at first it's not very tacky, but in the end it glues nicely and not shiny. Then after that one we have Yoo-Hoo, which I'd never heard of, but as I said, I was on a super duper quest for this. This is $3.99 for 3.2 ounces at dickblick.com, and it has this really cool top on it that takes forever to turn, and then it has this little weird green opening. Weird. But I only found it at Dick Blick's, and you can turn this, at least mine, I could turn it forever and couldn't figure out how to keep it closed, so I just stopped turning after I got bored with it. And it ripped the paper as well. It was very tacky at the beginning, and it does dry shiny and not tacky at all. Then, got all my papers here, I'm going to kind of get them out of the way. Then my very last one is the Stampin' Up! Fine Tip Glue. This is the first glue that I found in a glue pen, and actually I didn't find it. I went on to Split Coast Stampers. It's a website that was originally started by Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, and they started it so that they could kind of give each other tips and talk about things. They sell things on it. It's a really great free website. I recommend everybody that's into crafting with paper crafts to get on it, because there are so many tutorials and so many conversations going on about any topic, and you can start a conversation. So what I did is I started a conversation about fine tip applicators. I said, I'm looking for a glue that has a great fine tip applicator. I've had bad luck with it and I need help. I got an email right away from a lady named Lydia Fiedler. That's the spelling of her name, Lydiafiedler. I will put her information below because this is a really great tool. The thing that I loved about it, and you're not going to believe this when I do it. See, I pulled up, that's the fine tip, right? You ready? It's on. It's off. It's on. It's off. It's on. Now, all the other ones, you saw my problem with them. That in itself is the greatest thing I've ever seen. The only thing I have to tell you is I ruined my bottle accidentally. What I did was I was trying to figure out why another bottle was glued shut, and I know this is so stupid. I used this tip to kind of jam it into the other bottle. I don't know why. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done. And it's so fine that I couldn't unglue it or unstick it. So I put it in hot water and I left it in hot water for days. I've put it in hot water over and over and over again, and I can't unclog it. But it's my fault, and I feel really badly because, like I said, it's my fault. Now, this doesn't jam the tip like, you know, the other ones, the pin goes into the tip. This doesn't do that. And so I don't know of any other way to unclog it, because I tried shoving pins in both sides, but it's so little. It's like a hypodermic needle, so you can even pull it out. I mean, I've done everything with this. I've learned all about this bottle just by playing with it. So the pin itself pulls out, and it really is like a hypodermic needle. It's so fine. You can't get any pins in there. So, well, in either end. And I tried. Believe me, I tried. So don't hold that against this bottle. That's completely my fault. It does glue very quickly. It sets up very quickly. It glues, there's a shine to it. It's $7 for 1 ounce, but if you want an easy fine tip glue, this is it. I never found another fine tip glue that worked as easily until I ruined it as this one does. And I still take the lid off of it and use it without the fine tip that I wanted. Anyway, I'm only crying a little bit about how stupid I am, but I do really recommend it because of the ease of use. It comes out like a dream. It's just so runny. So if you're looking for a fine tip glue pen, this is or fine tip glue applicator, this is the only one I have found. So let me tell you what I discovered when I was done at the end of the day, when I wanted to say which one of these is sticky and right away is transparent. You cannot see it, and basically works better than any other. What I came up with was Martha Stewart's permanent glue. It was very sticky right off the bat, and it held really well. You have to tilt the paper to see it, but it's like a very fine sheen. You can hardly see it. But this is my #1 pick. My #2 pick comes in as a very big surprise. Now this one doesn't set up quickly, but for its price and for the lack of shine, there it is. Can you see it? It's hardly any shine at all. And I'm going to show you the shine on all the rest so that you can see them. But for the price and for the stick and for the fact that you can barely see it when it's done, Staples Washable School Glue, that's hard to say, is my #2 pick. My #3 pick is the Perfect Paper Adhesive. The reason it was as low on the list as it was is because it doesn't stick right away, but it dries completely. You can't see it at all. So those are my 3 top choices. Then my 4th choice is the best glue ever. I have a big glob of it there that I put on earlier today. It has a very slight shine to it. It is sticky right away. It has a very good hold. It's kind of expensive, but I wanted to put it in my list as my number 4. And I did the ones that I either decanted or have huge bottles of, I didn't put out. In the shiny category, all of the shiny ones work well, and that would be the Diamond Glaze, the Mod Podge, the Glossy Accents, and the Crystal Effects. They all dried very shiny, exactly the way they were supposed to. So I didn't put them in the same category because I'm looking for a glue that is going to be invisible and stick well. So that's why I chose these over these. In the fine tip category, I would choose this bottle if I hadn't have screwed it up. It works really well. And this little tip, I hate the pin, but I haven't had any problems with getting the glue to come out of it, and it comes out very runny. So this tip is great too. You pay like, I don't know, $2 and something for this tip extra on the Art Glitter Glue if you like it. I did not choose the other glues because of their shine. Okay, I'm going to just quickly show you the shine on these. That's Beacon 3-in-1 shine. See it right there? The Easy paper glue, I just covered it up, but that's its shine. It's very shiny. The Scotch scrapbooking glue, not bad, but still shiny. Can you see the shine right there? The Aleene's clear tacky glue, you can see is very, very shiny right there. Can you see that? The Aleene's Tack It Over and Over. The reason I didn't put it with the shiny glues is because it's so tacky that it really shouldn't be used like the shiny glues. The Aleene's regular tacky glue, that was the clear. It dries very, very shiny. Can you see it on the end there? Then the Tombow Mono Aqua, it is right there. See how shiny it is? There's the Tombow Mono Liquid Glue. I don't know if you can see how shiny that is, but it's super shiny. The Aleene's, let's tack it over. I did it already. There is the Stampin' Up, the fine tip right there. Can you see the shine on that? I stood up so you could see the shine better. The Art Glitter Glue, I think that's what that is, yeah. The Art Glitter Glue, really super shiny too, unfortunately, because I love that one. The Elmers Rubber Cement is shiny and a little tacky, and it kind of picks up stuff. I didn't love that one at all. The Scotch Less Mess School Glue, right there, shiny. And the Yoo-Hoo, super shiny right there in the end. It looks wet. It's so shiny. So that's my recap. I hope this helped you to understand which glue is the right one for you. And I'm going to be doing one on dry glue and, no, not dry glue. I already did. Oh, I'm losing my mind. I'm going to be doing glue sticks, and I'm also going to be doing small tape runners, and you know, all the different little tape runners. So that's the plan. I hope you like this video. I know it's super long, and I apologize for that. Please tell your friends about me on social media. I'd really appreciate that. And please give this a thumbs up if it helps you out at all. And let me know if there's any other videos you'd like to see. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.